want a piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
What up, film fans? Happy Hump Day. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to episode 377. Welcome to our Matthew McConaughey Top 5 episode. I'm Juan. This is Zach, and you're listening to the Cine-Men movie podcast. Zach, would it be?
It's time. We've been leading up to this for literally a year now. Are you ready to talk some McConaughey?
I think so. Let's dig in to some McConaughey.
All 6,000 members, thank you to the other nominees. All these performances were impeccable, in my opinion. I didn't see a false note anywhere. I want to thank Jean-Marc Vallée, our director. I want to thank Jared Leto, Jennifer Garner, who I worked with daily. There's a few things, about 3 things to my count that I need each day. One of them is something to look up to, another is something to look forward to, and another is someone to chase. Now, first off, I want to thank God, because that's who I look up to. He's graced my life with opportunities that I know are not of my hand or any other human hand. He has shown me that it's a scientific fact that gratitude reciprocates. In the words of the late Charlie Lawton, who said, when you got God, you got a friend, and that friend is you. To my family, that's who and what I look forward to. To my father, who I know is up there right now with a big pot of gumbo. He's got a lemon meringue pie over there. He's probably in his underwear, and he's got a cold can of Miller Lite, and he's dancing right now. To you, Dad, you taught me what it means to be a man. To my mother, who's here tonight, who taught me and my 2 older brothers, demanded that we respect ourselves. And what we in turn learned was then we were better able to respect others. Thank you for that, Mama. To my wife, Camilla, and my kids, Levi, Vita, and Mr. Stone, the courage and significance you give me every day I go out the door is unparalleled. You are the 4 people in my life that I want to make the most proud of me. Thank you. And to my hero, that's who I chase. Now, when I was 15 years old, I had a very important person in my life come to me and say, who's your hero? And I said, I don't know, I got to think about that. Give me a couple of weeks. I come back 2 weeks later. This person comes up and says, who's your hero? I said, I thought about it. You know who it is? I said, it's me in 10 years. So I turned 25 10 years later. That same person comes to me and goes, so are you a hero? And I was like, not even close. No. She said, why? I said, because my hero is me at 35. So you see, every day, every week, every month, and every year of my life, my hero is always 10 years away. I'm never going to be my hero. I'm not going to attain that. I know I'm not. And that's just fine with me because that keeps me with somebody to keep on chasing. So to any of us, whatever those things are, whatever it is we look up to, whatever it is we look forward to, and whoever it is we're chasing, to that I say amen. To that I say, all right. And to that I say, just keep living, huh? Thank you.
What a great Oscar speech.
Hook 'em. Hook 'em.
What if he just ended his Oscar speech with that? Hook 'em.
That's what he should have done. But you know what? We are here. Our 12-month odyssey to our reconnaissance is coming to an end tonight. We're talking our top 5 favorite Matthew McConaughey films of all time, whether you guys agree or disagree. This is our opinion, and we're all entitled to our own opinions. So sit back, listen, give a quick thought. If you have any favorite Matthew McConaughey films, send in the emails. It has been just overflowing with emails, and we will read out emails next week during the Godfather Part 2 episode. But if you guys did not listen to last week's episode was all about Wicked for Good. It was a divisive conversation all about Wicked for Good. Go back and listen to it on Facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, Instagram /the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, X Cine-Men405, the email CINEMEN921 @gmail.com. You can find the social medias right there, and all of the links to all of our favorite episodes and past episodes are right then and there. Me and Zach had a very fun conversation last week about Wicked for Good, so go check that out. Zach, right quick, let's get into some recent watches. Man, we're it feels like we're in the middle of December already, but it's only day 3. So I'm a big wrestling fan, as you guys probably know. I've put it on the show. We've had some different wrestling podcasts before. John Cena's last wrestling match is December the 13th. And I'm like, okay, let's see what he's going to end up giving us whenever this is all done. He's going to get into movies, Peacemaker, so on and so forth. So I've kind of been going through a bunch of John Cena movies, and they're all on almost Amazon Prime. So I checked out Ricky Stenicki with Zac Efron. Zach, have you seen this?
No, not yet. Did that come out early this year?
It did, but it's a very underrated, raunchy comedy. I believe Jay talked about it several months ago. And dude, I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite John Cena movies ever. And it's very funny, heartwarming. Zac Efron leads a fun cast. John Cena's in there as well. It's on Amazon Prime, so if you guys have Prime, check it out. But then he kind of crapped the bed with Jackpot. I watched Jackpot. It's got Awkwafina. You know me, I love Awkwafina. But this movie it was 2 hours long. I don't think this movie needed to be 2 hours long. Shang-Chi is also the villain, which I liked.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think some of these comedies nowadays need to be 2 hours long.
No, unless you're Judd Apatow. A comedy needs to be an hour, 30, hour and 45 minutes.
I checked out The Paperboy. Never seen it before. Zac Efron, Matthew McConaughey, Nicole Kidman, John Cusack. Wow. Have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
Fantastic film. Ed TV for the first time.
Yeah, we were going to do that earlier, I think in October, but it got scrapped.
You know what, dude? We should have done it. It's directed by Ron Howard. Woody Harrelson is in it. It's another heartwarming performance for Matthew McConaughey. It's a very good story. And I like when you see Academy Award-winning directors touch comedies. You don't see that very much anymore. But Ron Howard picked up this comedy and he rolled with it, dude. It's very, very good. I didn't buy it. I found it on digital to rent for $3. So I highly recommend that movie. Ballerina, I checked that out this year. First time watch. You know what, Zach? When you watch one of these movies, I feel like you've seen them all.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it was still kind of a fun film. And then I started some Christmas watching, Surviving Christmas and A Christmas Vacation. So, what about you? You get anything you want to get into or anything you want to recommend?
Yeah, went to the theaters a lot in the last week. When saw you remember the movie Sisu, where it's like the guy killing Nazis for an hour and a half?
Yeah.
They came out with another one called Sisu Road to Revenge. It's so much fun. I mean, it's basically the same film, John Wick killing Nazis, essentially. The new A24 movie, Eternity, with Miles Teller and Elizabeth Olsen. It's fun. It's a cool concept for it to be for a movie, honestly. Zootopia 2, check that out. I liked it. I'm still debating if I like it better than the first, or if the first is kind of since it's so original, this is a sequel, so it kind of loses some of that magic to it.
John Cena's in that.
He is. A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, as usual. Rental Family, the new Brendan Fraser movie, I thought was pretty good. Had a really good concept to it. Wake Up Dead Man, the new Knives Out mystery. Oh, dude, it's so good. It's so much better than that last one that we watched, that we reviewed.
So wait a minute, the new Knives Out, is it on Netflix?
You can see it at Flix right now, but it hits Netflix December 12th.
Oh, okay.
So it has a limited theatrical release.
Well, guess what? You thought we were only doing 3 episodes this month. No.
Hey, man, look, That might be a 2025 conversation, but I'm excited for you to see it. It's so much better than Glass Onion.
Nice.
Um,
I'm excited for it. That I didn't know it was coming out that fast.
and then on the TV side of things, I finally, like, freaking 3 months after it was aired, watched the finale of Peacemaker, which James Gunn has said that this is gonna. There's no more. There's no plans to bring the character back on his show, even though the show does leave it on a cliffhanger. Maybe they'll address it in another future DC movie. Who knows? Landman started back up. A phenomenal show. If you love Taylor Sheridan, Yellowstone, all his works, it's so much fun with Billy Bob Thornton. And then obviously the thing we've been leading up to that I've been talking about for the last 2 months, Stranger Things. The first 4 episodes have dropped on Netflix. Non-spoiler review, I think it's going to lead to an epic finale. So that's the best I can say without giving anything away. Have you watched any more on your road?
Dude, I'm still on the first three episodes of season 1. I'm so far behind. I haven't even gotten into Welcome to Derry. I haven't finished Yellowstone. I've never even started Landman. I'm so far behind. It's depressing.
Dude, no, you know what? I watched the first episode of it, watched the second half of the next episode, and just fell off. Not because it was bad, because there's like 18 other things I need to watch, and somewhere between now and next Tuesday, I got to fit in 3.5 hours of The Godfather Part 2. So,
but at least you know that's on. I believe that's on Paramount Plus.
Yeah. I got the Blu-ray, but I think I'm just gonna stream it on Paramount Plus this time. So go check out Zoop. If there's a theater nearby available, go check out Wake Up Dead Man and Knives Out Mystery, Zootopia 2, Stranger Things, Landman. And you know what? Because you started this off with John Cena, go check out Peacemaker. 2 seasons, 8 episodes apiece. You can binge that in a day. So
see, that's why we always hint at recent watches, because I started off with John Cena, you finished with John Cena.
There you go.
So today we are talking about Matthew McConaughey. Zach, this is going to be a fun conversation. Literally last December, we started with Interstellar, and we just went all 12 months talking about our guy, Matthew McConaughey. I hope we can do the man justice. Matthew McConaughey, born November the 4th, 1969. This is going to be fun. He has been nominated for 1 Oscar in Best Performance by a Leading Role. He won and knocked out of the park. We just got done watching his acceptance speech. And man, so let's rewind the clock back. Let's go back to last November. Okay, every year at this podcast, if you guys have not been joining us, we have a theme for each year. So last November, you rewind the clocks back. We're finishing up our Robin Williams top 5 movies, and you know what? We like Interstellar. Let's talk about it. I think it was like what? It's 10th anniversary.
Yep.
So we were like, let's talk, and then one thing led to another, and we were like, Matthew McConaughey. Texas had just getting ready to get on that college football playoff run. I'm like, let's just do it, okay? There's a bunch of films that we wanted to talk about, including Dallas Buyers Club and some others. So I didn't know what to think about dedicating an entire year to Mr. Rom-Com himself, who kind of just feels like he is where he is. You know, he almost completely fell off of acting for 3 years after his last rom-com movie. It took like 3 years for him to get back on the wagon. So I'm like, is this a gamble, dedicating an entire year to somebody like Matthew McConaughey? I'm sure if I could enjoy some time with him, he would be like an all-around cool kind of guy that you'd want to hang the crap with. We've seen him on interviews, different podcasts, car commercials. He's recently in a new commercial with Woody Harrelson all the time, so he's everywhere.
Yep.
He just got done putting out a brand new movie on Apple TV Plus, The Lost Bus. We just got done talking about that movie in November.
Has a
So
new book out right now. So
yeah, when I brought that idea to everybody's thought, what's the first thing you kind of thought of when you're like an entire year of Matthew McConaughey?
dude, honestly, it felt like a task. And what I mean by that is like you said, he's primarily known for rom-coms and all these kind of goofy films, but I was just like, yeah, but you got to remember, late in his career, he had a switch and he started doing serious roles. And he's done, serious roles prior, but like just wanting to say, no, I don't want to do rom-coms. I want to be taken seriously as an actor. And he knocked that out of the park. There, he had a straight, clear run of very good to great films. And I was like, you know what? He has a little bit of that. He has rom-coms. He has court dramas. He has a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film under his belt. But yeah, when you said let's do Matthew as a profile piece, I was like, yeah, let's go. He has plenty of films to talk about.
So yeah, that gets me started off on that. A honorable mention. We're going to talk about some honorable mentions here, and I'm just like, you know what? Let's kind of dig into it already. Let's sink our teeth into.
Before we get into honorable mentions, what was the most surprising thing you found doing this reconnaissance over the last year?
What do you mean?
Just like, what was your biggest surprise about him, maybe as an actor or as a person, or just like his filmography, just looking at going through it?
So going through his library this year, the thing that amazed me was how many of his movies I had actually seen,
mm-hmm.
and then B, okay, he's somebody who has a wide range, but we talked about it all the way back in the beginning with Ghosts of Girlfriends Past. You take him out of some of these movies he's in, and they might be unwatchable.
I'm looking at you 571.
And it's just kind of like, is he really that big of a difference? And we're going to get into it pretty thick here in a little bit, but he's a big difference. And I'm kind of on my inside out looking at the glass ball, if you will, on he's only been nominated for one in his entire filmography. And I'm just kind of like, what is there, what is there to do left? What's left of him to do? And I think he's I was going to save this for later, but I think he's in that role now of a motivational / TED talker / podcast influencer /
mm-hmm.
New York Times bestseller. He don't even really need to do films anymore.
No, he doesn't.
His voice and his accent and his positivity is so impactful that he is Texas. He is Mercedes-Benz. He is Lincoln. He's
so much more than an actor at this point, and it's so. You can literally go on YouTube and just look up Matthew McConaughey motivational speech. You're like, damn, I need to do something with my life when you listen to him talk.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I think was probably most impactful from sitting back and thinking, like, oh, this is a Matthew McConaughey themed year. What about you?
Yeah, I think the thing that really cemented this reconnaissance year in review was just how much of a diverse actor he is. He's done everything from like we said, horror, whether it is Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Fertility, that was with Bill Paxton, Dallas Buyers Club, Mud, and then like the 50 rom-coms he's did in the last 20 years or whatever. the action hero guy with Sahara or Rain of Fire. He's such a diverse actor that it was kind of enjoyable to see all the different performances he's done. So I think that was my takeaway from this profile year.
Let's get into some honorable mentions as far as some of our favorite films from Matthew McConaughey. I'm going to go with Gold, The Lost Bus, and White Boy Rick.
Nice. So I'm going to do The Lincoln Lawyer, A Time to Kill, Rain of Fire, which I'm pretty sure that's the first time I ever noticed him as an actor. I remember seeing that in the theater. Those are my 3 films, and then I'm going to, as an honorable mention, I'm going to mention Green Lights, his memoir that he wrote that came out during COVID. If you ever just want to dive into someone's head and kind of just
I have to check one thing real quick. Keep talking about the book.
Okay. If you ever want to just kind of just dive into someone's head and how they think and like how they live their life on such a maybe not so much positive, but it's such an influential way, read Green Lights. It came out in 2020. He said up front, this is not a self-help book. This is not, you should live your life the way I live my life. This is his own experiences throughout his life. And there's so many great stories in there that when he told his mother that his girlfriend was pregnant, or the time he went down to Australia, when he got dazed and confused, how his character Rain of Fire at that point of his life was so much, it was so parallel to how his life was going at that point in time. And the greatest, I think one of the coolest stories is that, he didn't want to be known as rom-com guy no more. And so he, like you said, he took some time off, called his agent. No one was wanting him for anything. And then a rom-com script came in and he kept denying the script. And he got up to almost like $14.5 million to do the role. He said, fine, I'll do it. But then after that, people start taking him seriously. And then he had a string of Killer Joe, Mud, Dallas Buyers Club, Bernie, Magic Mike, all those films that, we think, oh, wow, he can actually be a serious actor. So it's a great read. It's only like 250 pages, so you can get through it. So it's, it's a really great book. And he has a new one out that I haven't read yet, but I'm looking forward to reading. So long-winded way of saying those are my honorable mentions.
Nice. Why wait? Let's dig into this year-long journey, and let's talk our top 5 favorite Matthew McConaughey films. Zach, I'm going to go first, and I'm going to say 5, part A, part B. Part B, I just got done explaining it on, or part A, I just got done explaining it on recent watches. I'm going to Ed TV. Very well written by one Ron Howard and directed by Ron Howard. And Matthew McConaughey just links up so good in this movie, no matter who he's acting with. He, again, pops up and steals every scene he's in. And number 5, I'm going to get so much hate, and you're going to look at me and just probably turn your screen off. I'm going Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation. Because you know what? Even though you take a movie that is so dumpster fire, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation, and you put the character Vilmer in there, played by anybody, and you're never going to want to pick this movie back up again. But you put Matthew McConaughey in that role, and Matthew McConaughey nails that role of Vilmer, And it's a movie that's terrible, cheesy, but you can't stop looking away from the screen. You can't stop listening to the dialogue Vilmer is talking about. And I think that's what a good actor does. He can take a crappy movie, and it's still a crappy movie, but you cannot look away when he's on screen. So for that, number 5 is Texas Chainsaw Next Generation.
Okay. I didn't expect that to be in the top 5 conversations, but like I said, that's part of the movie is Matthew McConaughey. So okay, so I'll go number 5 for me. I feel like is going to be a surprise, but also one that in my opinion has been severely forgotten, that will be celebrating 10 years next year. I'm going to go number 5, Kubo and the Two Strings. With him, Charlize Theron, Ralph Fiennes, Rooney Mara. I think this is a great, great animated film. It made one of my favorite films of that year. Craftsmanship from the production company that made the film. It was almost like a combination of stop motion animation and CGI mixed into one. The musical score, the story, I thought the voice acting was phenomenal. He plays like this beetle warrior type character that's so kind of goofy, but like you enjoy him in the movie. That he's a great character with the protagonist. It has a lot of heart. It has a lot of just beautiful messaging throughout the entire film. It's a great animated movie, honestly. I think it was streaming. It's on Netflix right now, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Kubo and the Two Strings. It's a great animated film. It's great. McConaughey, it's just a great film overall, and I highly, highly recommend it. Number 5 for me. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have it right there. I've only seen it once when it came out. I believe it came out in 2016.
Yeah.
So I've only seen it once, but when it comes to McConaughey, if he voices any, yeah. Dude, number 4 for me is going to be Interstellar. I think that movie is one that probably just kind of got shied away from him as far as being nominated for Best Actor. Everything he is in this movie, whether it be heartfelt, whether it be smart, funny, scared, sad, a lot of the credit goes to Christopher Nolan, but I don't think this movie probably gets pulled off if it's not without Matthew McConaughey being in the film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's one of the actors that Christopher Nolan has like never used. So you're like, when you see him in Interstellar, or when you first hear about it, you're like, huh, I'm surprised that role's not for Leonardo or somebody else that Christopher Nolan always uses. But Matthew fit it right, being a guy from a Texas ranch, right?
Yep.
So that's number 4 for me. We had a whole episode on Interstellar. I am still kicking myself in the Interstellar for not going and seeing that movie on IMAX.
Number 4 for me, the last one we talked about, Dallas Buyers Club. It's a phenomenal film. Go listen to our full thoughts. There's a reason why Matthew won the Oscar for Best Actor. It's depressing. It's in a weird way, it's also uplifting in some aspects of the film.
Let's talk about it together then, because that's my number 3.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, we did a full episode on it, but like just to put a thumbnail in it, I think this movie I think this film not only gave Matthew his Oscar, but it also signified him as like, yeah, if he wants to do something and he puts his mind to it and heart and soul into the project, this is why he could be up there with some of our greatest actors, honestly.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like this, I don't know, this role identified him and solidified it. But the thing that is troubling me is, I just talked about it in Texas Chainsaw. This is something that we've known all along about Matthew McConaughey, about method acting without the method acting. and putting him
What
up
about the
against,
Daniel Day-Lewis part of it?
yeah, putting him up there against anybody on any given film day, and he can just crush a part without second guessing himself. And I don't think it's a matter of if he can or when he wants to. I just think it's a matter of like, why is nobody else who gets paid the big bucks to nominate people? Why is nobody else paying attention like that?
Yeah, and
So,
I feel like,
and
you know,
I talked about it a few weeks ago. Dallas Buyers Club is depressing to
it
where
is.
I don't know if I want to pick that up every year or every
Yeah.
other year. But that movie is so powerful in the performance night and day. I think it passes anybody at any given Sunday.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like I said, I totally agree with you. It's not a film I want to pick up every once a month or once a year even, but I feel like when you do pick it up and you give it the time of day that it deserves, you really get something that um is deserving of all the accolades it was nominated for. So,
What's something else that you probably could say, going into your number 3, what is something that maybe, was there any kind of disappointment going through the filmography of Matthew McConaughey?
like in terms of
Not
that
not
should have been my list or what?
not like a film, not like, oh man, I'm really depressed or really disappointed with this viewing, but like anything like Looking Up or something that you've viewed over his career, like of just, oh man, because sometimes, let's say, for example, let's say we're talking about a Woody Allen movie. Oh, there's a lot of stuff to point negative about Woody Allen. Or let's say we're doing something about, um, I don't know, just Leonardo DiCaprio. He's got some shade sometimes because of the young women that he's dating.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Matthew McConaughey, I have looked up, and there's nothing that I can really kind of point on that's like, man, that's not a good guy.
No, look, and reading Green Lights, I think it really pointed out, he's I'm not gonna he's never done anything terrible, but look, on the outside looking in, it's like, wow, that wasn't really a great choice. Like loading up his belongings and going into riding an RV across the country, and maybe I'll get jobs, maybe I won't. I'm just gonna live off the land type thing. I would never do that. I couldn't survive doing that. But that was a spiritual experience for him, and he very much appreciated that time in his life. Um, I think that when you read about his upbringing from his mom and dad, they really hit the thematic themes of life hit hard with him. Like, no, look, son, this is your life. This is what you need to do. This is how you treat a woman. This is how you get a good job. This is how you be a man, whatever it is. And I think, I would never, like, if you saw him sitting at a restaurant, would I want to go up and say hi to him? Yeah, absolutely. Who wouldn't? He looks like one of the coolest guys ever. But out of respect, I'd say no, he's with his family and I don't want to disturb him, but I'm sure if someone said, hey, can I, just say hi, I'm sure he wouldn't be rude. Well, I hope not, we don't know.
Yeah.
But so is there like, you did a lot of research. Is there something that, like the spiritual journey thing, was like, I don't know if I would do that, but is there anything that you thought interesting?
I don't want to say it like this, but I envy somebody like him who can not only afford mentally and financially to do a spiritual journey like that, but you're kind of like in awe of like, man, what is it like to just grab life by the horns, so to speak, and do that kind of spiritual journey without having to think of any backlash, no consequences. This is going to make you either make or break. And I just gotta like, I think if I was financially stable, I would probably do the same thing. To turn down something so much that you love, he loves acting, even though it was a rom-com, he needed the money, millions and millions. He turned it down. And of course, yeah, $14.5 million later, he accepted it. But man, what kind of uh, just bringing does that make somebody do? Turning down what you love because it's not truly you're burnt out on it. And there's so many people going through being burnt out on things right now that it's like, man, we're burnt out, but we can't afford to take a step back and tell this job, you're bad for my mental health, you're bad for my spiritually, you're bad for me spiritually, you're bad for me mentally, physically. Nobody can step back and physically, financially say that, because we got bills to pay, or we have all this other stuff we got to take care of. So who knows whether he had? I'm sure he had bills too. But for him to sit there and say no, wish I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, if we could just, tell our jobs to, go kick rocks for a week and we all load up and go to New York City for a month or whatever, and we could say, hey, finances are good. We don't need to worry about bills. Childcare is good to go. I'm sure we would do it. But unfortunately, we're not born into a rich family. We're not, I don't want to say we're ordinary, but I would just say that we're like everyone else. We just have these responsibilities that we got attached to us, and we can't just walk away. And I'm not saying Matthew McConaughey doesn't have responsibilities. Obviously, he has 3 kids now, so that I think priority A, B, and C is family, God, and business, and I think that's something you live by. So he's an interesting person. I need to send you a video I listened to where he just was just kind of sitting down talking about the philosophies of life. It was just like, man, those are some wise words to live from. So
yeah.
Number
3 for you, Zach.
My number 3 is your number 4. I'm gonna go Interstellar, the film we started off this whole profile piece with. Dude, I think, especially with that, I talked about it on the episode. I went and saw the re-release in IMAX. I think that movie kind of had like a little resurgence there for a little bit, because like I think it was
trending.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. It's never had like bad reception or anything, but like it's sandwiched in between The Dark Knight Rises and Dunkirk. Dunkirk is probably top 3 Nolan in my opinion. But I think it was kind of like, the whole Murph thing with the library, with the bookshelf at the end of the movie is kind of like, whatever. But looking back on it, obviously it's Christopher Nolan, but that's a really, really very good film, honestly. It's beautifully shot, has great atmospheric sequences. The music is incredible. And I agree with you, man. I think you could put Leo into that role, and I think it would have been just as good. But Matthew brought a whole different style to that film. I think he put in the Jimmy Stewart, the everyman aspect to the character, that he's got to go on this impossible mission. And I think that's what brought more. I caught on to that more on this rewatch when we did the episode.
There you go. That is journalism at its finest there. When you're comparing Matthew McConaughey's
to Jimmy
blue collar style to Jimmy Stewart, Zach, you just might have won podcast host of the year with that comment. Mark it down. That comment is probably the best I've heard all year.
Listen, it is 8 o'clock on Wednesday, December the 3rd. We're almost 40 minutes into this episode. If you want to submit that to the podcast awards, please. We can get some hardware with this podcast.
That was really good.
So, yeah, number 3 is Interstellar. Like I said, I totally agree with you. I think it was kind of trending there for a second, and it was just like, oh, I think people forgot how good the movie was, and it was just like, oh yeah, maybe people went because it's Christopher Nolan. Who knows? But it got another chance at life, and I think that's what was cool about it.
Number 2 for me is going to be Mud.
Mm.
Reese Witherspoon. You know, this is another one of those movies where you could take Matthew McConaughey out, and I don't think I'd ever want to pick up this movie. Good story, some good side characters, some good chemistry between other actors. But Matthew McConaughey is this movie. He is this role. He is Mud, and his accent and his wavy looks. Dude, he's Mud, and I think this to me is one of the movies where he should have been nominated and won for Best Actor. But he is that character. So number 2 is Mud for me. We had a whole nother conversation about it. Man, yeah.
Nice. Number 2 for me is going to be number 2 for me is his newest film, The Lost Bus. I said on the show it might be one of my favorite movies of the year. It's so anxiety driven. By the end of it, you're just like, my God, it's that's as close to a huge wildfire situation I ever want to get. It's so tense. The cinematography is like it puts you directly in the action, quote unquote, with him just trying to rescue the kids out of this horrific situation. Even America Ferrera does a very good job in it. It's streaming now on Apple TV. We talked about it about 2 months ago. Go listen to our full review. I think we both had a interesting conversation about it. And it's, I think that unfortunately that's going to be like a Mud situation. It's going to get lost in the shuffle by the end of this year, and it won't get no recognition. So what is your number 1 favorite Matthew McConaughey movie?
How to Lose a Guy in... No, I'm just messing with you. Even though there are some really good rom-coms that I have not talked about or that I have not brought up, let's go through some of them, man. Fool's Gold, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Ghosts of Girlfriends Past. Matthew McConaughey is that guy. He's funny, he's charming, he's witty. He is the University of Texas. But my number 1 movie is going to be The Lincoln Lawyer. I love a good courtroom drama, and he provides that in its mentality. It's a 1A, 1B, along with The Time to Kill. I think those 2 movies are neck and neck. His best performance, hands down. Say what you will about Dallas Buyers Club, but I will argue with anybody when it comes to Matthew being, and I think that, he was going to go back and try to be a lawyer, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was pre-law before he got into acting.
So I think that's part of that method style of life imitates art, art imitates life kind of things. So those 2 roles for him, A Time to Kill and The Lincoln Lawyer, they just tally up, man. And I think he is at his finest in those 2 movies. So 1A, Lincoln Lawyer, 1B, A Time to Kill.
Yeah. Yeah, I really felt bad putting those as honorable mentions, but I felt like it just in my personal view, if I was going to go back and watch a Matthew McConaughey movie, rewatchability is big here on the show. Those are ones that I'd watch maybe every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And then these are ones that I would put on, if I was in the mood. Let's go to that one.
Number 1 for you.
We're kind of jumping off each other's vibes here. My number was Mud. Loved Mud. Saw it in the theater. It was a great experience. It really feels very independent filmmaking at its best, even though you have 2 big stars with Matthew McConaughey and Reese Witherspoon, Sam Shepard, Michael Shannon, Sarah Paulson's in it. It's such a who's who of B and C characters that you're kind of fascinated of who's who in the movie. Has a great coming of age, very like Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn type story on the Mississippi. And yeah, I just that to me when you said I remember when you said we're gonna do Matthew McConaughey, I was like, no, we got to talk about Mud at some point. So that's my favorite one, and it's holds a special place. I'm glad I got the Blu-ray of it, so like whenever I want to go back and rewatch it, I can have that ability.
Dude, how much of an influencer is he to like? You can just kind of sit back and read and listen and go through some of his TED Talks or his podcast speeches, and it's like during the holiday season, during what a lot of people go through this time of year. Like, I'm not just saying this because he's a Texas Longhorn fan, because he's one of my favorite actors. But if you are out there and you really do have some hard times going through whatever you're going through mentally, physically, financially, like if you want somebody just to listen to kind of cheer you up or to kind of hype you up, I do solemnly swear that some Matthew McConaughey speeches can lift you up, even if you're in some dark times right now. Like, always know that you're not alone. Ask for help. But something that kind of helps me in some times of need is to just look up some motivational speeches. Even though I'm not going through maybe what they went through, or maybe their story at all just does not go through what I'm going through. But like the Denzel Washington Fall Forward speech, or just some other speeches that Matthew McConaughey has also done as well, kind of gets my fire going, and it kind of makes me wonder and kind of keeps me going. Like, you know what? There might be some light at the tunnel. It might be far away, but you just got to have some faith and listen and go through life. But just ask for help, man. Everybody's here. You know, give a call, give a text, send an email, and somebody will reach out.
Yeah, and also when you hear him talk about just being motivated and just grabbing life by the horns and everything, it's just like, yeah, I can do that. Like, what's holding me back? Is it just me being lazy? Is it the job? Is it, you got to live in the real world and be like, no, I got bills and whatever else to take care of. Because I mean,
Go ahead.
No, I was just. I mean, I'm sure, like you, I'm sure there have been days just like, you know what? Let me throw the badge down, get my stuff, and get out. But unfortunately, that's not how life works.
Every day, whether we like it or not, we all can't be Spider-Man. We all can't go out and fight crime, or we all can't have superhuman strength. So, but speaking of paying bills, hit us up. 7405. Sign up for some podcast classes and learn how to create your own podcast. Learn how to gather some sponsorships. Learn how to make this passion your conversation piece, whether you want to talk about movies, music, life, politics, comedy, anything you want to. Hit us up and let us help you create some podcast learning sessions. There's already been a few classes kickoff underway, so go ahead and sign up as spots are filling quick before the holiday season. Zach, speaking of holiday season, we're in the month of December. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. We're just a few weeks away from Christmas.
Yeah.
And Hanukkah night 1.
Yeah, can you believe, man, we are like 4 or 5 weeks away from 2026. Does that just like bread your butter?
Speaking of bread and butter.
I know you're excited about next week.
Speaking of next week, speaking of the year 2026, I don't know if a lot of you might have known this, but next year solidifies a bunch of unknown waters, trending waters that we do not know that's coming, doors that may not be opening, windows that may not be closing. 2026 is a lot of uncertainty for us. But what we're going to do and what we're going to talk about is our favorite movies that have ever been just thrown out into the world, whether IMDb has them in the top 250, whether Rotten Tomatoes says it's 100%, next year, our theme is just GOAT. Whether you want a Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, The Godfather, just any kind of IMDb's top 250, even if it's something we might have already talked about, we are going to throw into that conversation piece. And 2026 is just going to be, it's going to be that. It's going to be some of the greatest movies ever discussed, some of the greatest movies ever made, and maybe some of the worst movies ever made. But we're going to discuss them. 2026 is going to be voted to, is going to be dedicated to, and our 2026 year theme is IMDb's top 250. So,
Yeah.
and we're kicking it all off next week with The Godfather Part 2. It's one of my favorite film trilogies in the history of movie watching. We talked about The Godfather Part 1 a few years ago, and what better way to kick this whole IMDb top 250 thing off with The Godfather Part 2 next week.
I know you're excited about it.
You know what, man? I'm very excited about rewatching the movie, but I'm even more excited about sitting here next week and discussing the movie with you.
Yep. Like I said, 3.5 hours. I got to find some time.
I think the most thing I'm more excited about is I'm not going to sit here and discuss why you should like The Godfather. I'm not going to sit here and discuss and say that you're wrong for maybe you don't give it a perfect grade. You know, maybe you kind of have some issues in the flawed system. I just want to sit back and talk movies, but not only movies, influential movies with you next year. And I think another movie that we have to do, and it's been something that we've just forgotten about, Citizen Kane.
Yeah, we got to talk about Citizen Kane at some point next year.
It's one of those movies that everybody, who's everybody,
loves.
Probably 9 out of 10 is like, that's the GOAT.
Yeah,
there's just so many movies that are like that next year, and I can't wait to just strap up, buckle up, and talk to you about it. And we're kicking it all off next week with The Godfather Part 2. So that is next Tuesday, December the 16th. No, December the 9th. I'm sorry, I'm way behind.
You're really, guys. He's just ready to get to Christmas.
And then December the 16th, we're having a Christmas Carol conversation. We're going to watch and hang out and talk all different kinds of Christmas carols, the theme behind A Christmas Carol, and the just the life lesson, whether it's faith, whether it's personal finance, the lesson A Christmas Carol teaches us, we're going to discuss in our last episode of 2025, and that is 2 weeks from tonight, December the 16th. Zach, until next week, sir, Matthew McConaughey is finished.
Thank you, Mr. McConaughey, and all the Texas fans out there for enjoying us, letting us go on this journey with him for the last year. And I mean, like I said, it was very enjoyable, and I'm glad we got to discuss him over the last year, and it's been fun. But I think this next chapter is going to be even more fun.
It could be the next, could be the final. Who knows? The next chapter, IMDb Top 250, The Godfather Part 2. We will see you guys next week for another brand new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
Hook 'em.
You broke my heart.